All right, what up, everybody? We are live and sad. We're sad. So we're here coming to talk Lions, talk injuries, talk loss yesterday. Herman's here to pep everybody up, right, Herm?
I'm keeping it real.
And we got AG Spirit of Detroit on with us, and just joined us. We got Spenny.
Benny,
what's up, Spenny?
What's going on, everybody?
We're sad.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Lead
us off, Herm. I know you got happiness. You always got happiness.
First of all, listen, we're gonna lighten that up a little bit. There's nothing to be upset.
That's it.
That's
it.
No, you can't be sad.
Oh,
ain't no time to sulk. This is the championship part of the year. This is where champions are made, and championships opportunities are lost because you can't even get into the dance. The Lions have done what they're supposed to do to get to this point, to be able to say, you know what, one game does not destroy a season, and there's things that they have to get in place. They have to clean up some areas that we haven't seen happen in some time, where they had turnovers. They also had some penalties that were costly, opportunities that were missed. But aside from that, the team has done everything to get to only having one loss to that time. So they're their second loss. So if anyone's sad, think about that. You're sad because the Lions have lost their second game of the season. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Injuries, though. It's the injuries. It's not.
I think it's more the injuries for me.
I'm talking about just from the standpoint of what happened.
And lost, whatever. I can take whatever.
I want to add to that, Herm. The switch up is crazy on the Lions fans, man. The switch up is crazy, and I blame a couple of sports networks in the area, but the switch up is crazy. It's doom and gloom. First, we go 11-1 with backups, right? And the narrative is like, we're better than you with our backups, right? And then we lose a game, and I'm saying, oh well, we're injured. Which one is it? Which one is it? Because now I'm feeling like everybody gave AG a crown yesterday, and then they crucified him today. If you're with this team, you got to be with this team for the long haul. Whether they lose a game, whether they win a game, whatever happens, whether our third down conversion rate is bad, whether our defense is bad, like whether it's Raxter or golf, you got to be in the same energy. Because you guys, like, it's like y'all break down after one loss. I'm seeing so many Twitter rants like, yeah, AG doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to call a game. And then I'm seeing this like nonchalant attitude with some of the fan base. Like, we're injured. It's okay. We're injured. I'm like, well, we had 11-1 and we were injured and didn't have Aiden Hutchinson. So I get a little angry with that because this fan base sometimes they jump ship or they become nonchalant when it's time to be passionate. They become this, that, and the third. We have to stay the course. This ain't nothing. This is the Bills. They won the game. We still have the first seed. Got to keep going.
Yeah, and that is how you look at it for sure. You win 3 games, you're the number 1 seed in the NFC. You control your destiny. You went out, you got the number 1 seed, and that's all that's important. But for me, it's the losses that occurred in this loss. It's losing Alim, McNeill, and Carlton Davis, who are 2 of your top 5 best defensive players for the rest of the season, more than likely, is absolutely debilitating to a defense that has already withstood so many injuries for so many important players. And now Alim McNeill, who's playing like an all-pro this year, he's done for the year. He's gone. Carlton Davis, who was the number 1 graded cornerback in the NFL since week 9 per PFF, he is gone at least until Championship Sunday, at the very least. And then, of course, David Montgomery as well. The David Montgomery injury, it hurts because of the guy he is. It hurts because of how much he means for this team. But you have Jahmyr Gibbs as well on that role, so that doesn't hurt you as much, stylistically. But Carlton Davis and Alim McNeill are 2 of the 3 biggest injuries that have happened this year for the Detroit Lions. When you look at Aiden Hutchinson, Carlton Davis, and now Alim McNeill being down, that is 3 pillars of your defense.
Yeah, I believe let's look at also first, welcome everyone. Thank you for dropping in. Dr. Detroit, Lisa.
I want to give I want to give Lamar here a chance to introduce himself because we got.
Okay, go ahead, Lamar.
Lisa says, "Hey, Spencer, Chrissy, Herman, this handsome guy I don't know." So handsome guy, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Lamar Horton, Sometimes I go by Avery Giovanni. That was like a surname. I'm from Spirit of Detroit podcast. Like, comment, subscribe to Lions Nation Unite, best channel, best people in the world. They gave me an opportunity to share my thoughts and do some stuff in the background for them, and I just appreciate the opportunity they gave me. So they big up little channels like myself, and I'm just happy to be here.
No doubt. I appreciate that.
Yeah, happy to have you, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Lamar, when we first met and we talked, just like with Spence and Easy, man, there's just this immediate bond. There's just this piece here that you see that you guys are dedicated to fan base. You're dedicated to this team, to the city and the sports, and that's what drew us in. So same thing, man. Big ups to both of you, and also Easy next time we speak with him. But Keitho, Bobby, Bubo, Bobo. Bobo Lane, we got Rob, always Lisa, Dr. Detroit. Want to welcome Hubert in. Thank you so much for joining. Alan, Chris, Templeton. We just talked about the injuries. We talk about the fanfare, and that's going to happen. They're going to, whether we like it or not, no matter what we think about this team and this organization, there are going to be those that are going to root for them to lose, even those that are inside the fan base for whatever reason. It happens. We want the teams that are on top to fall. We want even those that are closest to us to fail. And you let that go with it. You take the good with the bad. But I will say this. There's a resilience in this team. There is no room for excuses. There's no room, as Dan Campbell said, and no time to sit here and worry about who you have and you don't have. You got to play with who you have. And you got to hope that the players that are stepping up are going to be prepared and that they're going to have done the work to be afforded the opportunity and seize the moment. That's what he's pushing right now. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity. This is your opportunity. If you've played behind someone and you've looked for that more playing time, you want to reward yourself for the hard work and the commitment of being a backup player or a player that prepares the starters to go out and do their best. Now is your time. I don't think there's going to be a problem with him motivating those players. I don't think it's going to be a problem. They're going to play to the best of their ability. Stop there. Concern I have is, how good is that ability?
Yeah.
That's the question. It's not about it's next man up. I get it. But it's always going to be, what does that next man up bring to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see the coordinators, or do you see there being a change just in the strategy overall to compensate for losses in different areas?
They're going to have to blitz more for sure to get some pressure. Like Alim McNeill and what he does by generating pressure from the interior defensive line is not something you can replace with the guys that you have on this roster. It's just not. So getting Ife Melifonwu back, hopefully, is big on that, because he's fantastic in the blitz and getting pressure on quarterbacks. So that is going to be the biggest thing. Aaron Glenn's not going to change how he covers, but it's going to be man coverage across the board still. He's not going to shy away from that, even if it is Kendall Vilder or Ennis Rakestraw or whoever decides is going to step in for the injury to Carlton Davis. But getting pressure on the quarterback is something they're going to have to manufacture for the rest of the year. Obviously, without Aiden Hutchinson, it's been kind of a consistent struggle so far this year, but you lose your second best pass rusher in Alim McNeill, and that just hurts even more. So they're going to have to start sending some more blitzes up the middle. Or we saw Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen is a freak of nature, and you're not going to see another guy like him, hopefully, until the Super Bowl. But the way he was able to just sit back there, wait for things to develop, wait for receivers to get open, you're going to need to bring some pressure and get some quarterbacks on the ground.
Yeah, the value of this team right now is going to be the coach. It's going to be the coach. He's going to be the rock of this team, and he's gonna build up some guys that need to show up. Roderick Martin, we've been waiting on you. Roderick Martin got me 35,000 views when he was drafted. We haven't seen him since. So I need him to really show up, pick up the pace, because when you have an all-pro like Alim that goes down, and you're in a room with guys like Alim, DJ Reader, you need to soak up the game. You need to soak it up. You've had 10, 12 weeks to soak it up, plus preseason. Now I need you to go out there and perform. Now I need you to go out there and do something. Sione Vaki, a dude with a lot of heart, a lot of character, tackled 2 guys 2 weeks before. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to go out there and I need you to spell Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best backs in the league, you know. And then from a play calling standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, Hey, Aaron Glenn, you might have to go 60-40 on man coverage versus zone. You might have to play the cover 3. You might have to play the cover 3 Mabel where you have man principles in your cover 3. But you can still go man. I still trust Raxter when he comes back. I still trust Melifonwu if he comes back. You still have guys in the stable. I don't want no coaches or no people in the building that matter, because outside the building, we don't matter. We could say, oh, no, we don't matter. I need everybody in that building that matters to look at the person that like, man, you matter, bro. Roderick, you matter. What's his name? The cornerback, the Robertson, you matter. I need you to go out there and play big boy ball for 7 more weeks. And that's it. And every situation, I need somebody to be like, you're not Aiden Hutchinson, Pascal, but look, you are Pascal. You were drafted in this league. You matter in this league. You're the guy in this league. You belong on this team. Seize the moment. Muhammad, 2 weeks ago, seize the moment. And that's what I want from this team.
A couple things. Let's dial it up for a second here. So when we look at this game, there was some exposure. There were some things that I saw that we're going to have to deal with now. We've seen there be some gaps. We've seen some problems in the secondary at spotty play, especially in man. Yes, they like to dial up man. Yes, I don't think teams have taken advantage of understanding that the Lions play in the middle of the field. If you look at their percentage of plays, they're really attacking the middle of the field. They're attacking both sides of the seam, and they're playing levels. A couple concerns that I have, and for you guys, anyone that's on here, continue to kind of lock on, smash that like button, go follow us on our social channels, because we're going to definitely, as you can already tell, we're all bringing different perspectives. We're bringing angles that make the most sense. And it's not about sitting here, and we don't have to BS anything across our channel. We don't have to do that. We're going to speak real. And, I saw some areas where they regressed. Here's where I see it. When you look at whenever you see a quarterback, especially Jared Goff, having to throw 60 passes, one, you already know that's problematic defensively. That means the offense is either having a heck of a lot of drives, or they're just having to play, catch up, and they're not getting the yards they need in the running game. Second part I saw is that they abandoned that, which means sometimes you can take control of the game, you can beat down a defense in their aggression, but you can also do some other things. But when you get one of your backs get injured, it's like one goes down, your running game goes down, versus bringing in Craig. Maybe you bring in another running back and you try and continue that piece. You give Jamar Gibbs a spell so you don't overuse him. And the other one that was a little bit of a surprise, even though Sam Laporta played really, really well, I thought that it became kind of a 2-person show in that. And then, Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield like they would normally do. And they forgot about Jameson Winston. My God, I'm losing my mind. Jameson Williams. I know. In that it almost pushed him back as well, because if you look at his play over probably 8-9 weeks, no one questioned his hands. No one questioned his ability on the outside, his importance to this offense, the threat that he provided in his run after the catch. And it became almost a forgotten factor. And I didn't really see him work anything except on the outside numbers, and seeing him kind of do that, I think took some confidence. And the next time, what we saw before, you're trying to go deep to him, throw a pass, ball's a perfect strike. Yes, it was going to come back because of the penalty, but at the same time, that would have been 6. Mm-hmm. But I just think, he had mentally kind of left the game a little bit. I could be wrong, but if you don't have your players in on a consistent basis, especially getting the touches early, you have a tendency to lose some guys. And so I want to see them just kind of bring that all back full circle, trust what has gotten you here. Yes, there'll be some things offensively that we'll look at that say they should have done better. And I want us to kind of pick apart a little bit of those things, and not to be picky, but to assess what we saw good and bad. But then also defensively, when we get to that, we talk about man, what makes us think they have to stay in man? Because I think they can't stay in man. I'll be honest. I don't think they can stay in man. Man hasn't been, yes, it's paid some dividends when you get rush and you get to the quarterback. But now you've been exposed to say, if you don't get to the quarterback, and if you get mobility in the quarterback, and then the ends kept fading on the inside, when you have to stay contained, you have to force Josh Allen up the middle. There was a breakdown somewhere, and we haven't seen that all year. So now it becomes important, because now you're going to see if you can clean it up. But then you're going against the Bears. They're not the Bills. So where is this team in terms of preparation and ready to take on those elite teams? Now, not questioning, not wavering as a fan or as an alum or any of those things. It's like, I am going to have some concerns. I am going to have to switch up some things. I'm going to have to recognize that we're playing with injured players. And now we have to put together some schemes that will protect us, not overexpose us, but then give us effectiveness on both sides of the football. And the offense is going to play a big role with that.
Yeah, and I agree 100% about what you're saying about Jared Goff throwing the ball 54 times. That is never something you want to see out of this offense. It's not how the offense is built. It's not how Jared Goff plays the game, and it's not what they want to do. And so I'm looking at the offensive line in this one. It has been 2 weeks since they've gotten a consistent push from that offensive line to run the ball. They couldn't run the ball against the Packers, and now they can't run the ball here against the Buffalo Bills. And when you can't run the ball and then you can't stop the run on the other side, because the defensive line as well, they were consistently allowing 5-6 yards on first down from James Cook and Ray Davis between the tackles, and you're giving a freak of nature Josh Allen 2nd and 3s and 2nd and 4s all game. He's going to eat you alive. And so you have to stay in front of the sticks. And when they can't run the ball and they can't stop the run, you're not going to win a lot of games in the NFL, no matter if your quarterback throws for 5 touchdowns or if you lose 5 guys during the game. If you can't stop the run, you can't run the ball, you're not going to win. And especially with how this team is built.
Yeah, I'm not a strong proponent of what they did, in the run game. I felt like the Bills were like a middle of the pack type of running team, and then just to go off on us, I felt like the Bills were like I don't want to say this was their Super Bowl, but I want to say something to that effect of like they were really coming to play. And I think the game plan for them was, we want to get up on this team. We want it to be efficient, because the model of the Detroit Lions is being efficient. Long drives, matriculating the ball downfield, and making things happen in the red zone and on third down, the money down, is how this team wins. We've seen now 2 games of footage where the Buccaneers, you could say, is an outlier, because we outscored, we outdid everything, like outrushed them, time of possession, everything. But I think what the Bills did, it was like, how do we be more efficient than the Lions moving forward? Every drive has to matter. They really took us out of a rhythm. Goff had to get 54 passes in, but I feel like the defense was just wore down. Like time and time again, it was just wore down. Now, also, add insult to injury, we don't need any onside kicks. It's not a surprise. This ain't 2010.
I just want to weigh in. Just
go ahead.
Just myself. That is the dumbest rule change. Seriously, I mean, how non-sport can you be? Like, everybody, we just want to let you know that just so you don't have a competitive advantage here, which is exactly the point of doing this. We're going to let you know that we're about to do this because we meet all the criteria that we can, in fact, have an onside kick. We're down. It's this time in the game. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. Like, honestly, what happened to football?
Exactly. What happened to football? And, this ain't 2010 where you're on, it's Sean Payton. It's in Miami against the Indianapolis Colts. And that's actually a great play. No, you have 12 minutes left in the game. You actually have a sustainable like margin of error to make something happen, but you don't need that to happen, because that sent them to the 4-yard line. That was so crazy that it was crazy call, and it was a crazy outcome, because you were not thinking correctly. You were thinking desperately, trying to get your team back in it or whatever you're trying to do. So I think the Bills were just more efficient. I think they said, look, this is one of the toughest run defenses in the league. We're going to run at them. We're not going to be one-dimensional. We're not going to feed into their narrative. We're going to come into Detroit. We're going to turn the lights off. And for the last 2 or 3 games, the Bills have been playing very good football. So they've been trying to be an upper echelon team like they have been in the past. They really came out here and took the Detroit Lions as serious as they take Kansas City. And to see them run the ball when they haven't ran the ball all year is wild. So I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, like, this was their Super Bowl. They wanted to prove something. And we had the injured players, of course, but still we had lack of execution. And it came down to execution. Like, people being wide open is wild in man coverage.
Yeah.
So,
It's and again, shout out to everybody in the chat and that's here live with us. This is Lions Nation Unite. Make sure you smash that like button and follow us on all social media platforms. And to what Lamar and to what Chrissy said, Herman, Dan Campbell himself came out and said, like Lamar's point, he didn't have the Lions ready to go in this game. The Bills came in here, they looked ready to go. He said he didn't have the Lions ready to go. And then also he said, in hindsight, yeah, the onside kick was a bad decision. And he's not a guy that's going to stand up there and BS you. Dan Campbell's going to tell you how he feels. If he goes for it on 4th down and doesn't get it, he says, I trust my guys. We're going to go get it. I'm going to do that again. And this time he said, no, this was the wrong decision. I messed up. So how did you feel about the coaching decisions?
Well, I'm always going to be an advocate for Coach Campbell because I think in just a short period of time, what he's done has been nothing short of amazing. There have been some questionable calls here or there and chances that he has taken as early as last week against Green Bay, right? You look at some other ones that he's made throughout the year, and yes, that becomes part of your brand ethos. It becomes part of your coaching style, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all those are the right moves to make. There are some things you have to look at, and in all fairness, say, does it make sense with 12, 13 minutes to go in the 4th quarter? We're only down by 10 to go for an onside kick. I mean, that's something that you have to look at and really dial in and say, you know what, if you're in the playoffs and if this was a playoff game, you go home because of certain mistakes. And then you look at the penalties that the team hasn't made. And he talked about the spotty play in his press conference earlier today in terms of he hasn't seen those type of mistakes being made by players. And he says when one player's making a mistake here, another player then makes another mistake on the second side. And it's like, there's something happening. You can't seem to get a hold of trying to put out that fire. It keeps jumping, right? And what I see as a coach that he's realistic about what's going on with his team. You can see the frustration in his play. You can see the frustration and the reality that he has. No BS, no trying to, nothing to see here type coach and saying, you know what, I made some mistakes. And he's also talking about some of the struggles they're going to have because of the injuries, because this is not going to be an easy go. They don't have the players. We can, if ands and buts were fruits and nuts, every day be Christmas. We had all of that. We would be able to say, we get an asterisk beside our thing. Hey, we lost because of. No, Buffalo had players injured.
Have you been waiting to work that into a conversation?
I'm just saying, listen. No, when don't worry about it. Everybody knows where I'm going with it. Listen. All I know is with Coach, I like that I'm looking at a coach that is being realistic. I'm looking at a coach that is still hanging on to his authenticity and the reality of saying we have to get something done. We have to do something different because we're not the same team because of our injuries. We can't run the same schemes because we don't have the right people that are capable of doing certain things that our starters were starters for a reason. Yes, we're giving players opportunity to come up. All I'm asking them to do is they have to, at a minimum, give me their best effort. I'm not asking them to go out and be that certain other type of player. I'm not asking Pascal. I'm not asking other players to be Hutchinson, but I'm saying to Smith, I'm telling to whoever's going to be the next person stepping up or the next one that's coming in, I need you to do that assignment to the best of your ability and to do it as flawless as possible. We know you're not going to be perfect, but we can't have stupid mistakes. And I don't know. It doesn't stop there. It also goes over to his offensive and his defensive coordinators. We got to find a way to be better. We got to find a way to do some things that we want to do. We're not going to be able to do it. So now you're going to have to earn all the accolades and all the fanfare that you've received and showing that whatever you have to work with is what you got to work with. And I think this team is capable of doing that. I know this coaching staff they will not lose any games going forward. They will not have lackluster play going forward because this team quit. They won't have it because this team wasn't necessarily prepared as much as the team didn't execute. Only thing I worry about with this Lions team right now is injuries and execution. That's it. That's it.
Because I'm a strong proponent of what you're talking about. It's like, these guys getting paid. I don't care if your name is Alex Anzalone or Alex Betts. You're getting paid. Y'all have a certain expectation. The organization brought you in. You have a coach, and Aaron Glenn, trustworthy. He's going to give you the scheme that you need to be, do everything. You have the I'm not even gonna try to say it. Every time I try to say it, it messed me up. You have the authentic coach and Dan Campbell, who's like, hey, look, I'm gonna bring you up. I'm gonna give you a shot, and he's giving you a shot. So now it's time to go up there and get paid. Think about the story or the narrative moving forward about injuries and how that changes if we win the Super Bowl. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I want you to keep tracking. For the last 10, 20 years, injuries have been the oh yeah, we got injured. We're da 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 da. And we seen a team, probably the Patriots of 2008. The Patriots of 2008, after they went, 19-0, they had a bunch of injuries. Tom Brady was injured. Everybody was injured. That team went 11-5 the next season. Imagine us right now in the driver's seat of our playoff future. We got so many injuries on defense. I believe it's 16 players on IR right now. We go to the Super Bowl. Injuries cannot be an excuse. Injuries moving forward, you go to the Super Bowl, you get the 1 seed, you do all these incredible things. The narrative shifts in the NFL. Now it's about scouting. Now it's about coaching, real coaching, teaching players. Now it's about growing your organization. We have a chance here to do something bigger than us. We have a chance to do something bigger than the NFL. And we have a chance to do something bigger than Detroit. So I expect us to see a Lombardi trophy. No holds bar. I got 3,000 subscribers. I don't have to lie. There's no money in it for me. So I think we're going to make it. And I think that we just have to get these players on board with this is what we have to do. We're going to have to be 60-40 on the zone and the man coverage. But at the end of the day, this is what I need you to do. I know your name is Frederick Hendrickson and nobody ever heard of you, but they're going to hear about you in the Super Bowl. So get ready for media day. That's all.
Before we start, everybody keeps saying next man up. I'd like to promote the new line that we just put out today for next man up. Everybody go to lionsnationu.com. Get it there.
Shout out. Go grab your swag at lionsnationu.com. Make sure you smash the like button and follow and subscribe to all of the social media outlets. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them. Wherever you need to get your information, make sure you subscribe or follow the Lions Nation Unite. And if you want great merch, just go to lionsnationu.com. And Lamar mentioned a great name when he was talking about that in the last segment, Alex Anzalone. This is a guy that could be back by playoffs with his arm injury. And this is a guy that will be very essential for this defense going forward because we saw in the last game the people that ate us alive were running backs and tight ends over the middle of the field. And part of that is because you have a ragtag bunch of linebackers. You got Jack Campbell, and then you got 3 practice squad guys out there. So part of it was Josh Allen just being Josh Allen. Like there were multiple times when Jack Campbell had the coverage on the running back, and then Josh Allen just has an open lane for 20 yards. So Jack Campbell has to go try to tackle him, and he just throws it over his head. But having Anzalone come back, a veteran presence, your best coverage linebacker, and the guy that's been the captain on your team for the past year, Herman, how important is that for the defense going into the playoffs? He should be back by week 18 is what they're saying. So hopefully he'll be ready to go for the playoffs.
What I always get concerned with, and we've touched on it just slightly when you talk about injuries and you talk about players not only coming back from injuries. It happens with every team. It happens every year. You hear about a big player. You hear about key positions and players going down. Sometimes it happens early enough in the season where you can get guys back. Now we're talking about bringing players back at a pivotal part of the season, especially when you have a team like the Lions team that is vying for such. I mean, 1 or 2 losses can be a tremendous swing in terms of position in the playoffs, depending on how everything plays out. But if you can get players back, you have to still be kind of careful there because players can come in, they could be prepared. You can also give them an opportunity to go in, and you pull it from guys that are going to be in that position for the weeks leading up, getting themselves ready, who may be more and more physically ready than the players you're trying to bring back and make the starters. I'll give you a case in point. When I got injured, I was a starter. I got injured second game, third game of the season, whatever it was, I think in 98, 99 against Seattle, thinking opening game. I ended up having an MCL. I was going to be out for 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. I rushed and I came back, got injured. Right after that, on my other knee because of overcompensation, because I was working that one so hard that I neglected the other one, right? We didn't have all the stuff we have today. Then you try and come back, and I've taken that time away from those other guys that need to have that preparation, that week leading up to that. Now I go in, now they have to go in. So you got to work those players. Unfortunately, you got to figure out, is it all go or bust, or do you bring those players back and give them spot play? I think even Coach Campbell alluded to that, said, listen, when you get some of those guys back, maybe you give them certain down and distances. When I came back the second time, I was only going in on certain passing plays. I knew there was a certain playbook of things I was going to go in, and that's how they factored me into the actual game plan. So I would imagine that's what's going to happen with any of the players that are going to come back. Let's say if it happens in postseason. But right now, the focus is going to be on who do you have available? What are their capabilities? Yes, you have film, but you don't have the right film. Coach Campbell said, you know what? We're 3 deep in our roster in the way in which we play, because we expect all those players at any given time to have to come in and contribute, even if it's a 2 versus putting in a number 3 guy may go in before a number 2 guy in the backup role. It depends on how they have them prepared. So I think the team will be prepared. It's still going to come down to capability. And I don't think they will be second and third string for the most part, unless they were capable of being the starter. So you are going to lose something. So let's be realistic. I will say this, and I want to just go back to the defense real quick. So, this is a defense that has played very tough. This is a defense that has played very collective and together. You see a guy like Brian Branch coming down, he's doing more coverage. We see him getting exposed a lot more in coverage. That's what will happen when you move from the deep part of the field or half of the field or deep thirds. Now you have to come in and you have to cover sideline to sideline. You got to cover everywhere in man coverage. You're going to be at a disadvantage. So teams are going to see that and they're going to target that. I'm telling you, because it's not about him being as great as a safety, because now I know you've now gone down to a position at the corner position or that nickel back or that inside slot cover guy, and I know you have exposure. Just like when we saw they kept using it where you had linebackers having to come down in the slot, and now they had to cover a running back. I mean, Buffalo did their homework, so I want to make sure we understand they were prepared to come out and expose some things that they know the Lions have been able to sit back and let players play in positions of strength. When you can make teams get out of that and you put them in positions of uncomfortableness and they have to play in places where it's going to provide weaknesses, and you can put some little kinks in their armor and kinks in their chains and dents in their armor, that's what teams are seeing. And we've seen that be chipped away at entire season. Buffalo has taken the culmination and taken the aggregation of all of that, and they put that into a game plan.
I mean, don't you at some point, I mean, don't you, I mean, I know that it's all about, winning the Super Bowl this year, and that's all everybody's been thinking about, but don't you also want to protect your long-term success? I mean, do you really want to put some of these guys out there who have broken bones and these massive injuries and risk re-injuring themselves?
You want to speak to that, Herm? Because I wasn't talking about bringing Aiden Hutchinson out today.
Well, Anzalone has a broken arm too.
No. I'm talking about, it's not even about, whether it's Anzalone, whether it's, Hutch. I think that's a real stretch. Like I'm being honest.
I would not.
I think, getting him back short of anything before, if the Lions are lucky enough and fortunate enough and play there well enough to get to the Super Bowl, that'll be his earliest comeback probably, if then. Getting some of the other players back, yes. Can you make some other moves? And the other thing is, let's be, if the Lions continue to play well, and they should be obviously in the postseason, they can still go get players from other teams. They're looking at teams that probably won't make it, and they can go and find other players that then will become spot players. Will you get the same returns on that? We're not sure. We saw what happened with Smith. Came in, and there's some things that you do well. Teams then start to understand who you are in their division. They start planning for you, and all of a sudden they start to negate you a little bit unless somebody else steps up and allow you to be in that thing you want, the type of coverage or defensive set that you want. So sign Sue. Well, if they're gonna do that, they might as well bring me back too. I got a little red zone in me.
That is not the same thing.
It is. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, I may be a little bit older, but listen,
a little bit.
5 years, 5 yards.
5 years.
Didn't you get drafted like 82?
He's younger than me, Herm.
Man, I only been out of the league for 5 years. I'm just saying, listen.
Although he does get mistaken for Calvin all the time.
Yeah, all I know is this. Listen, don't make me throw on this hat. Don't make me roll up these sleeves. And as long as I don't have to run 80 yards or 50 yards and pull a hamstring, 5-10 yards in the red zone, I don't care who you are.
Slot guy.
Herm's gonna be running Michael Thomas routes out there, 5-yard outs all day.
That's all you need. That's all you need. I mean, think about it, right? You just come in. It's just 5-yard route. I've looked at the corners. No offense, I'm being real. Like, I'm not sitting there going, "Oh my God, I'm so fearful that I don't care if I could be 60 and be like, okay, I don't know."
You gonna take a hit right now? You gonna take a hit right now? You gonna take a hit right now?
Oh yeah, for 50 million, or even what are they getting, like 200,000 a game? Oh yeah, come on. 200. Yeah, come on. I mean, there's nothing to complain about there. Come on.
They should be paying you 60
that challenge. Anybody want to challenge?
Are people really out here like same old Lions, just throwing the towel?
Yeah, man, you gotta let those people go.
You see that? You see that? That's what I'm talking about right there.
Okay.
And then they be wondering why. Then they wonder why my nickname is like the Motor City Madman and stuff. And then they wonder why I have to bring them to heel. Okay, I have to bring them back to reality. Okay, because there's another network that juices them up. You know who that is? They juice them up. And then when we got to get back to real. Okay, it's not gloom and doom over here. It's not gloom and doom.
This is a good point, Herm. You could probably do as good as Skipper.
I'm just telling you, I want everyone to underestimate me and say, you know what, this guy, no way, this guy could do. Oh, okay, okay.
Herm, I'm gonna need you to break down that play with Lomas during Herman Lowe this week, because I know he was going crazy. But what is it like for the rest of the offense when they draw up a play like that and they do get the touchdown to Dan Skipper? Because the whole thing is, Ben Johnson lets the offensive line decide one play that they're going to run in the game. Like, they all vote on one play, and Ben Johnson will put it in the scheme for that week. That Penei Sewell play where he was throwing the ball, they voted for that play every single week until Ben Johnson finally put it in the offense. But what's it like with Dan Skipper going out there, having the game of his life against Green Bay, where his 41 or 42 pass blocking snaps and only a single pressure allowed on that left tackle position? Then you go out there and you take care of him and you get him the touchdown. How does the offense feel about that?
Well, real quick, Herm. Let me just say this real quick. It was hilarious because I caught the ball and I'm like, oh, is that a tight end? That person's running really slowly. Bigger stuff. Dan Skipper. Okay. So just don't know if anyone else had that experience, but
all it is you always have plays factored in to where they're kind of the sneak out plays. That's catching your defense sleep at the wheel. It's no different when you try and draw them off sides. It's no different when you try and say, we got one, we're going to try and get a hard count. Don't anyone jump. But now you're calling a play saying, listen, this is where they're not going to be expecting it. If they don't notice that you're eligible to go out, then we're good. I guarantee you, if someone would have covered that up or noticed that he was going to be there, Jared Goff would have checked out. We would have heard him give a kill, right? We would have heard him give something to say, you know what, he's checking out of this, because when he saw that no one knew he was actually eligible and that there was still an opportunity, and he was probably what we call kind of covered but not covered. He's covered with a defensive lineman. Okay, we think man-to-man defensive lineman against our tackle or whatever, now eligible tight end. You're playing the odds, right? So that's the cool part about it, man. This team, anyone
Jared Goff's kill is the new Omaha.
Skip. Yeah, yes. I'll say this. I love it. It makes the linemen be very enthusiastic. It keeps them keeps it lighthearted in the huddle in intense games like that. But even Lamar, when you had mentioned about from the players and the fans and the environment and fans coming and going, and you have to get on them. Listen, man, the fans that are not with the Lion fans now, trust me, that nation is solid. That den is solid right now. It does not matter. You're an outlier. You're someone sitting on the outside. If you're a Lions fan and you're fickle, you can't be. This isn't manufactured. This is a team right now that is sitting on just 2 losses and 11 wins. So if you want to sit there and go same old Lions, and you want to sit there and you want to throw shade on them and try and chop them down, then go be with the minority and be by yourself, because I'm gonna tell you, the majority still believes in this team, even as beat down as they are, the defensive injuries, the fact that they played against a Buffalo team that seems to really have done their homework on them, but at the same time, it's different. 12-2. Yeah.
Hi, Lou.
Hey, thanks, Lou.
Shout out, Lou.
My
Shout
buddy-
out, Lou.
Lou's
My
Chubby
buddy Jerry.
Charlie.
Yeah, my
Chubby
buddy
Charlies.
Jerry. My buddy Jerry at work. I just want to give an anecdote to that. My buddy Jerry at work. He was telling me like, why do you care what that guy tweets about the team? I'm like, look, I live and die for this. I live and die for this. This is, but why do you care? Why does it bother you? You're gonna hold up the trophy. Don't worry about it. I know that, but he has to know that. I just want to know why, though. I just want to know why. It was back and forth. It was like watching Seinfeld or something. I just want to know why they think that we're done. But
Right.
It's not your job to understand them. It's not your job. I'm like, oh, I was like, we were going to church yesterday at work. We were going to church because he was just telling me like, yeah, just hey, look, you believe and believe. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, if you're still saying SOL, like, nah, come on, what are we doing here? This doesn't happen. They have, like Lamar said earlier, 16 guys on IR. Like, come on, and they're still in the first place. They still have the driver's seat to get the first seed in the NFC if they win out 3 winnable games. Obviously, the Minnesota game at the end of the year is going to give you the most trouble, but you're in the driver's seat. If you win out, you get the first seed, and then you got home field advantage in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there. But saying SOL is just ridiculous.
And you know what's funny is one thing about you. You're one of the biggest, realest fans there is. Well, you were the only one in the fan base besides myself, but you were the only main one, big one last year defending Aaron Glenn, defending. You was out there. You was fighting wars, man.
Yeah.
Look, guess what? And you believed. And now you know Aaron Glenn gonna get a head coaching job next year.
For sure.
Yeah, believe in something. Believe in something. Have conviction. So a lot of you fans just wear the stuff and just put it up.
All right. So, Herman.
Miss
Are you listening?
Chrissy. Go ahead,
Okay.
ZZ.
All right, so I want to make sure you're listening, All right. So I know that you had some things that you wanted to say about this game, right? Some things that you saw come to fruition. Do you still want to talk about those things? I'm going to.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to give you the floor.
All right. I mean, well, let's show the journey here. Let's dial it in. So everybody just get your favorite drink, your favorite beverage. I won't be long-winded. If I am, Lamar, Spence, Chrissy, you can start playing music and you can throw up your little Post-it.
Yeah, I'll get my Post-its ready.
So let's look at this journey that has happened, and you think about the decades. You look at the different coaches that have come through, and we had success with Jim Schwartz. We had success with Coach Caldwell, and we've had some spectacular players come through. Now you've had to take a team and you bring in a coach that, again, I said this last week, that people laughed at, people made fun of, people just thought was a joke. They thought the Lions organization just really had lost their mind, and they no longer really had a grasp. I even heard sell the team. That's where we were. Fast forward, they didn't do great that first year, but we saw the makings of a fiery head coach. We saw the making of players who you didn't know their names, and St. Brown is upset because of where he got picked and all the guys that got picked in front of him. You're looking at some of the first round picks at the cornerback position that you're hoping to work out, didn't quite work out. So you got some hits and some misses. You got some good, you got some bad. And then you start to feel like, but there's something different. There's something different about this team. Fast forward to the following year, you see players start to mature, take responsibility, accountability. Coaches are standing behind their team. Fans are starting to go, you know what? We support this guy, Dan Campbell, because we just like him. He's likable. We like the players. The players, they're not bickering. They're not getting in trouble. They're not out here just cutting up and talking about each other and just being just a bad team of culture. You see the ones that are left, they're trickling out. The ones that don't fit the culture are going. There's a process that's taking place. Fast forward even more, they go in and people aren't expecting to win, and boy, they go out there and they're just lighting it up. And the Lions are getting close. They're getting real close. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, man, it's not the same old Lions, man. We're putting out shirts going, drinking it since, man. Drinking it since. Then all of a sudden, that makes that seem old. Then, drinking it. Wow, no, man, we're not drinking it. We're drunk on it. We're there. This team is it. We believe in this coach. We believe in these players. The players are out there. Now you're knowing their names. Now you understand what they're doing. Fast forward, they come out. Do you think the Lions will go 16-1? No. No way. They had a good year. They had a good run. They were one game away. Man, if that wouldn't have had this one pass go wrong, or they wouldn't have gave up that collapse in the fourth quarter, it was right there. But man, everyone's saying the Lions would go back to the Super Bowl. Everybody on the outside is going, no, not Lions. Maybe, yeah, I like coach. Yeah, I like these players. Yeah, he's got them. Yeah, they got grit. Yeah, it's one pride, blah, 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 all the puns, all the phrases, right? The Lions lose to Tampa Bay. Everybody's like, this is a bad game. Got to get better. Then all of a sudden they start winning again. Then they start just not winning. I mean, kicking ass and taking names. They start putting the beat on them. Hey, they going out on purpose. Period. Everyone keeps thinking they're going to lose. The next one, it gets close. Man, it looks like they done did something and lose this game. They pull it out. They pull it out. They all of a sudden now they're just putting up 40 points. Players get hurt. Nobody's crying a river. People keep going. Now we're here, and you have a loss against one of the other teams that's predicted to potentially be in the Super Bowl from the AFC side. And the Lions are losing players like I lose keys, okay? But they are competitive. They still play, and they barely lost. They came real close, even to the final moments of having an opportunity to win a football game. And you're holding on to the seat like this on the onside kick, hoping they got it. Even if it's 2 seconds left in the game, you're going, if we get it back, we got a chance. Come on, man. Anybody's just saying same old lines, please go ahead and get out of our thing right now. Just leave. Don't need you, don't want you, don't need you. I'm saying that as a player that I'm not going to always say that I was sitting here going, I think it's going to be this, but I'm telling you right now, I think this is a hell of a team. And I think this is a team that has grit is putting it mild. Okay. So that's all I want to say, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be easy. They have to win. They have to figure out a way around the adversity because that's what championship teams do. Mm-hmm. No excuses, no pouting, no excuses, none of all that stuff. All players, all teams have injuries. Players are playing with injuries on other teams. They're figuring out a way to win. Teams are having up games, down games. You look at Kansas City, they do not look like a Super Bowl champion caliber team, but you know what? They got the best record in the league right now. You know why? Because they're figuring out a way to win. And as Coach Campbell said, all they have to do is win by 1 point. 1 point. Don't get spoiled by the 40 and 50-point games. I don't care if it's 3-4. That's an ugly game.
That's not where I thought you were going to go with that, but okay.
So I'm gonna get off of that piece there and just say one game, on to the next player up. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Coach Campbell, they have to do better. Period. Everyone, not just the players. Coaches have to be better too. They do that. We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna chop that up. I'm gonna put that motivational music behind it. You know,
yeah.
I was if I had a sound effect, it was like the applause.
Yeah,
you know, it's the reality of it, man. I'm envious that I don't get to play under the circumstances and with the opportunity and being in a position, not having to make a 7-game run, not having to win 4 of your last 5 to get in the playoffs. And when we get into the playoffs, we're there and we play well. Maybe we win 1, then we just get knocked out the other 5. We only win 1 playoff game. This is different. We never had this, a controlling, commanding position. Come on, man. I'm envious. I'm jealous. That means this team is doing a hell of a job. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you right now, I have not been sitting here going, man, wish I had an opportunity to play on that team. I'm saying it now. Yeah, I'm saying it now.
Oh yeah, that's getting clipped for sure. Beautifully done, Herman. And before we get out of here, again, appreciate everybody.
Good. I want everybody to feel good, man. Feel good about what's going on. It's a loss, man. Feel good. I want our fan base to stay excited. Stay excited about this team.
Yeah, if you're worried about the 1 seed, anybody here, you're worried about the 1 seed. If you're worried about that, if that's like a contingency plan for you, just the 1 seed, look at the teams in NFC. You have the Vikings, you have the Bears, like look, the Washington, like no one can really test you in that NFC. So no one can test you in that gauntlet. You going to where you going. You're going to Valhalla. You're going to the Super Bowl. So you need to get ready now. Get your bags packed. Like y'all should have been making plans for the Super Bowl last week. Y'all should have been getting the money together last week. Don't let the one game.
Lomas is ready.
I don't know. Hey, Lamar, I almost got ready to go find me my spray paint and start spraying my mouth like this. Get ready. I'm getting a little Mad Max. Hey, Chrissy, that's a
Witness me.
That's a movie. That's when they get ready, man. They get ready to get out there.
It's a great
I'm
movie.
trying to be one of them, man. Just get me out there, man.
We're gonna fly you out. We got the ticket. We're gonna take care of you, Herm. We're gonna take care of you.
Shout out to everybody watching and in the chat. Make sure you smash the like button. Before we get out of here, I did want to get all your guys' takes on this last thing. It is a new week. The Bills game is in the past. Right now, we got the Chicago Bears on the docket in Chicago. Caleb Williams, the team's falling apart there. They've officially been kicked out of the playoffs this year already. Go take care of business. Get right game in Chicago. Lamar, we'll start with you. How do you see them attacking the Bears, and what do they got to do to win in Chicago?
Well, I think the key is to not be scared to go in between the tackles with Jahmyr Gibbs. Show them that you're going to run the ball. Show them that you're the same Detroit, even without Montgomery. God bless his soul. But say that you're the same Detroit. Play efficiently. Do not make mistakes. If you do make mistakes, Jesus, cover it up the next play. Don't die on every play. Don't build off a mistake with the extra mistakes. Show that these players on this team that you scouted, drafted, brought in through free agency, brought in through trades are the guys that can execute this game plan. Make sure that game plan is 60-40, zone versus man. Make sure that when you're doing your cover zeros, that all your cues are fixed. Make sure that you don't give up the same mistakes with running backs down the middle. Now they have a code. They have a framework to beat you. There was one team that beat you through luck and you playing terrible, but now there's a framework with the Bills to beat you. So now you have to cover up those mistakes even more of your same mistakes that you already had. So play efficiently, play aggressive, and then fix those mistakes that the Bills got, because now that's the framework everybody's going to use against you.
Chrissy, are you worried about Chicago? How you feeling about next week's game? It's important. Got to win them.
It is. Is there a video game sound effect in the background somewhere?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
what
not me. That's me.
Herman, you playing a game?
Not playing games.
You playing a game, Herm?
I'm not playing any games. I'm sitting here. If anything, I have too much candy sitting over here on my desk. I just can't wait to get to. I'm sitting there like a kid, like wanting those candy. And if you see me start doing this right here, then I'm over here messing with stuff. I got airheads and pretzels and all kind of stuff sitting over here.
Okay. Well, Spence, first of all, I appreciate you asking me. My I'm not usually a top level perspective because I don't get deep with it these days. But I will say that just looking for the team to play as a unit and looking for them to, I think it's more just getting everybody acclimated, getting new players that are up that are acclimated, and it's not really the players themselves don't go. Oh, Herman, you can tell me if this is wrong, but players themselves all see each other as part of their team. So if a guy goes down, another guy comes up. It's not like, crap, it's Spencer. We didn't want him to play. They're all together. So to them, it's just next man up, whatever. We're going in. Who's playing? We're going. So I'm just looking to see how they play together, more along the lines of mistakes. Are they playing clean? Are they executing well? So, but if they lost, would it be the end of the world? No. But I mean, you'd like to just see them play well. That's what I'm looking at. And no, Herman can't play. Can Herman play corner?
No. No, I last time they put me in, they threw a Hail Mary, and I was probably one of the tallest guys out there. And
but hey, that got you
that Hail Mary, man. And I don't know how the one shortest guy on the field caught the Hail Mary, and myself and the other receivers and everybody else was in there, and he just kind of snuck behind us. I don't know. So I no, I'm done with the cornerback play.
If I played football, I'd be a corner.
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's a fact. You seem
Yeah,
you like defense.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been hitting Planet Fitness. If they need a defensive tackle, I could come in there. I could get a 4-point stance and clog a couple running lanes.
How tall you got? How tall?
I'm gonna just coach.
Yeah,
I'm just coach. I know I ain't got no talent. I know. I played JV for 4 years in high school. I'm
good. I have ups.
Oh, come on, Chrissy.
I do have ups, and I'm a good defender. Don't look at me like that. I'll take you
I
out.
just got something in my eye.
I'll take you out.
No, okay. It's all good. So listen, So here's my take. I got real quick. I'll be on mine. So when you look at Caleb Williams, you look at the receivers that he has. You know, DJ Moore has been playing well for them as well as their leading receiver. But I think the Lions have to be careful because I think they think, you know, Chicago's not as good. We're injured, so that makes us kind of balanced out and we're good. No, Chicago's a much better team than people realize. They've lost some very close games. Otherwise, they'd be in a playoff position right now. Real talk. And they, regardless of what's happening right now with them in Minnesota and what's going on there, yeah, this may be a team that's checked out. But at the same time, this is not going to be an easy game for the Lions, and especially not on the road. So it's going to be a matter of them going out and really having to create turnovers. I think that's going to have to be a thing. I think that they're going to want them throwing the football. Hopefully there's an opportunity for some turnovers because the offense can then, who is the healthier part of the team, can go out there and try and put points up on them and keep a Bears team that I don't think is going to be looking for big strikes out of the chute. They're going to try and work their way down the field. They're going to try and pick apart the defense. So that's going to be the saving grace, that you're going to face a team that's going to play ball control. And in doing that, the Lions have the ability to do ball control or they can strike fast. So it's really going to come down to execution and turnovers, in my opinion, for this game. And if they do that, you know, the Lions should be competitive in this game. It doesn't mean they're going to win. So I don't want anyone thinking and being naive, because I'm going to tell you, if I'm a player on this team right now, I'm not sitting there going, you know what, we should beat Chicago. No, we need to make sure we play well. We need to be able to make sure we execute and we're strong in our assignment, because we have to control the things that we can control. And that is it. The results will be the results. If you start getting there and you're trying to size up your opponent, you start underestimating or overestimating, you start planning for things you have no control over. And that's what I'm hoping that the coordinators will look at and protect some of those weaknesses right now. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, I think, are going to be big players in this. But I think your linebackers, Jack Campbell, those guys got to get in, man. They got to make plays. I think he's an X factor that we haven't talked a lot about, but Jack Campbell's all over around the ball. He's everywhere. He's playing all over that field. He's doing a lot more than what we're hearing about and seeing. That is trying to compensate for some of the areas they lack, especially on the pass rush, but also in the linebacking position. So let's pay attention to that and see what happens there.
You always have one player that you just really like.
DeAndre Swift's a little questionable. I mean, he's injured, so it's a matter of he'll be full speed.
You missed my point.
I know I like DeAndre Swift, but
you missed my point. It's fine.
I know he's on my roster.
I think my answer was more fun.
Yeah, on fantasy, I said that kind of low, but he was the only one that was left, and I knew him. I mean, so I picked him. So.
And if it had gone well, you'd be like, I meant to do that, and it was the best choice I made. But if it doesn't go well, you're like, I had to, so I did it. That's how Herm rolls.
There's a funny one right there.
No, even just Corey, even just saying that, even just being like, they're a better team than their record shows. They've lost some close ones. That's like Lions 101 the last decade.
But this has been on like a Hail Mary pass. I get it. It is like the Lions. It is, Chrissy. But I'm just saying, like, they've come close to. They've played the Bears have played the Lions.
Remember the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary?
No, but I'm saying they played the Lions pretty competitive. If you looked at them over the years, even though we've had pretty good wins against them, the Bears have played very competitive.
Let me use all the lines. Don't slouch on the Bears. They're
in Chicago, cold weather.
Mm-hmm. They just had a couple things not go their way, but if it was the other way, they could easily be in contention.
Look, we got a saying on my channel: people who like the Bears, we call them poor. Poor franchise, poor talent, poor level of play. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not socioeconomic. It's just like what they did with these last three quarterbacks. Nah, they not gonna figure it out for a decade or so. So we got this. I appreciate the respect and the deference that you put on their name. I appreciate that. I think that was very contractually done. I think that was, but I really look. If the Bears win this game, I'll sell my car. I don't know.
Hey man, I'm just telling you, man.
You're gonna jinx them,
Lamar. I'm just telling you. This is me being real with you, man. We face some teams. I go, ain't no way that team's got a fighting chance. And Barry may have negative yards. or may have 2 yards and I have 1 catch. And you go, and they have no players on the defensive side that you could probably name, and I could even remember right now. And it wasn't because you could have off games. You could have an injury that happens where a quarterback comes out at a critical time, or players just whatever. I mean, the ball hits a person the wrong way and it bounces in the air and a person picks it for a pick six. It's just the game has to be played all the time. And all I want is to say, let's just hope that there's no steps back. We don't need a Philly collapse that we saw.
And there's football psychology, right? Like when you're entering them with a mindset that you have nothing to lose, you play completely different.
And Lamar, I don't want Lamar selling his car.
I don't want to put any of this in the air. I don't want any of this in the ethos.
The money gonna go in my pocket. So
That's fair. Well, that'll do it for us today. Appreciate you all watching. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and follow to all Lions Nation Unite channels everywhere. For Lamar, for CZ, for Herman Moore, I am Spencer. We are Lions Nation Unite, and we'll see you guys later in the week. Peace.
Appreciate everybody.